And the 3 visas for this passport I'm going to suggest today are, number 1, courage. Number 2, empathy. And number 3, resilience. In China, you need courage to take risks. I don't mean legal or operational risks or physical courage. I mean you need to change your mindset to operate in a culture that is in many ways different to your own. Have you ever been in a situation where you feel too scared or too intimidated by another culture to join in? Well, let me tell you a story. I'm about 3 weeks into my new job as speechwriter for HSBC in Hong Kong. And I'm standing at my window looking out over the harbour and the distant New Territories and thinking, I really don't know anything at all about this place. I haven't even set foot outside the expat area here in the central business district. I hardly know anyone, and especially amongst the Chinese. And then suddenly in the door comes my Chinese colleague, one of the few Chinese friends I've already made, and she says to me, David, it's about time you got out. Why don't you come with us? We're going out to the New Territories. I think, oh, yeah, okay, at last, we're going to do something. Yeah, sure, what are we going to do? We're going to the Chinese opera, David. And David's standing there thinking, oh my God, Chinese opera. I don't know if you know anything about Chinese opera, but from what I'd seen on the TV and heard, it goes a little like this. And it goes on practically all night. So I'm thinking, okay, well, it's time that I said yes and joined in something. So yes, we're going to go. Saturday night comes and we're out in the New Territories, a whole gang of us, from the bank and from outside, lots of Chinese colleagues, and we all sit down there in the Chinese opera. And I'm thinking, oh God, is there any way to curtail this or make it a little bit shorter? And I'm looking at my watch and it starts. And little by little, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes in, I start to get entranced. They're doing all kinds of things going across the stage, wonderful gestures, and then suddenly in the middle there's this tremendous action and they're going at each other with spears and kung fu and it's sort of pa, 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 pa. And then there's a wonderful soft moment when the courtesan is talking to the emperor and the emperor is looking slightly seduced by this courtesan, and on it goes. And there's this wonderful twitching movements of the head to express emotion. And I'm completely entranced. And after 30 minutes, 40 minutes, we come to the end of the first act, and I'm saying to myself, wow, I want this to go on. And then my friend said to me, okay, David, well done. Jolly good. Ho yeah, as they say in Cantonese. Let's go now to dinner. And I'm actually slightly disappointed. And I went back after that evening thinking, this is fantastic. I've made my first entry into Chinese life, and I'm loving it, and I'm going to say yes some more. And I used exactly that readiness, and I suggest that if you find yourself in the same situations overseas, you also plunge in to participate and learn these other Asian cultures, which are fascinating. And for me, I found that it was an entree also into the business worlds, not only of the Chinese business world, but also of the other Asian business worlds. Because after I'd done my job as the speechwriter at HSBC, I started my own company and I went out into these other Asian markets and I used exactly the same mindset to join in these other cultures and to learn from them, to join the networks. And you can do just the same. In fact, you must do just the same to win in every Asian market. Empathy is not only cultural preparation or change of mindset, although it is both of these, it's also understanding what the consumer wants in China. what the market wants, what the market is about, and how different that may be to your expectations. It's about learning, as I've said, the local cultural characteristics, finding trusted and long-term partners with exactly that methodology that I've outlined to you, enlisting the help and advice of China expats and market entry specialists. It's about immersing yourself, making your company, to use an expression from Deng Xiaoping, I think, Chinese with British characteristics. Not 100% Chinese, of course, but enough to assume a Chinese persona or identity. I shall be gone for about 10 seconds. Assuming Chinese characteristics isn't quite simply donning a Chinese cheongsam jacket, but it's symbolic of the kind of attitude and the kind of local knowledge that you really need to have and to use and to leverage and to become a partner with all those other Asian partners. Have you ever sat in a situation where you've been so out of depth that you've no idea what the heck is going on? One of my clients had just such an experience. Let me tell you the story. He goes to Beijing to meet the chairman of a Chinese company. The company has told him that there's possibly a good deal in the offing. And he's highly excited. He goes straight to the chairman's office on the first morning, up in the elevator, up to the suite, looking out towards the Forbidden City in the distance, and the secretary is ready to usher him into the room, and he thinks, great, this is looking great. And he goes into the room, and the secretary is just behind him, and he sees the chairman there, but there's nobody else in the room. There's no interpreter. And it occurs to him, rather too late, that he hasn't brought his own. So he goes into the room, sits down, and the secretary brings in the tea. And of course he says hello to the chairman. They bow to each other. They both look graciously at each other. The chairman says some words in Chinese. My client friend says some words in English. And there's no further communication. The tea is poured. So they start looking out of the window. The chairman gazing one way, my friend gazing another. 5 minutes passes. Some more tea is poured. 10 minutes passes. A third cup of tea is poured. Finally, my friend thinks, well, this is a complete cock-up. Right, I'm going to go now. And he graciously takes his leave. Goes down the elevator, straight back to the hotel, falls on his bed and thinks, what a disaster. Except the next morning he gets a phone call. I'm the chairman's assistant, and he's just told me that he would like to meet you at 4:30 today. And my friend said, really? Oh, but how come we weren't able to speak to each other? She said, oh, don't worry, the chairman has said that he finds you someone he can definitely do business with. Really? How is that? Yes, he's never met a Western businessman that is so patient, and also that doesn't insist on talking business the whole time. So that's what you have to prepare for, the unknown and the unexpected, and being patient and being flexible for every situation. Don't impose your own way of thinking and doing, because it will be different. Finally, here are all the necessary links for more information. Please feel free to note them down. And I wish you every success with your business in China or elsewhere in Asia. Thank you.
If you would like to inquire about hiring David as a VIP consultant, workshop leader, or keynote speaker, please visit the website www.davidcliveprice.com/keynote.